The next day, Leannah and I get up bright and early. We decide to practice sparring before the others wake up. Our swords clash with a score of heavy blows. Leannah forces me backwards with a huge grin on her face. I'm breathing hard and struggling to keep up as my blows knit in concentration. Leannah sweeps my blade aside and comes back around, but I swing in time to deflect it. Her face brightens and she seems pleasantly surprised.
Wow, that's great! You're getting much better.
Really? Leannah grin turns devilish.
Hi-ya!
She lunges, and I let out a sharp cry, barely raising my sword in time. Her movements quicken as she strikes harder. I struggle to keep up, but I manage to hold my own. Ultimately, Leannah's final move knocks me to the ground. I groan, blinking up at the sky. It's hard to breathe with the wind knocked out of me. Are our spars always going to end like this? Leannah's face appears over mine. She smiles brightly.
That was so much better.
I lost it again, though.
This time. But you're getting stronger and stronger every time.
That cheers me up a little. Leannah extends her hand and helps me up.
Let's switch gears. You've been doing really well with sparring, so we should practice your magic training. You need to learn to refine your cast.
I know she's right, so I nod. I'm feeling more confident about it now that I know I can cast. I think back on the countless previous training sessions and the frustrations that came with it. Even though I know I still have much to learn before I reach anywhere near Leannah's level, I'm just glad to be past those early stages.
Alright, practice channeling your energy through your manipulator. And this time, keep your focus on where you want to cast.
My attention lasers in on a nearby rock. How do I want to do this? I close my eyes and focus. That familiar energy trickles down my arm. Wind spirals from my gauntlet, but I can't seem to summon enough. The rock levitates just barely off the ground. My arm shakes with effort to keep it there. Leannah sends out a whoosh of air, strong and calm. The rock lifts up a little higher. She smiles.
That's better. You're doing well. You just need to focus on summoning more energy.
Leannah looks around and points at a large rock.
Try again on this rock.
I take a deep breath, clearing my mind, and cast again. As usual, a solid gust of wind bursts forth, and I steadily float the rock in the air. Leannah claps her hands together, a wide grin on her face.
Yes, that's it.
I'm doing it! The Pongo glances at the floating rock curiously. In one motion, he jumps right onto the rock. The movement startles me, and the rock jolts in midair. The Pongo wobbles precariously, and I can feel the nerves set in again as I fight to steady the rock.
It's okay. Don't panic. Just keep your focus. Try to float them towards you.
Alright, it's just heavier now, so I had to adjust my energy output. I breathe in and out and refocus. And the rock stops swaying.
Good. Keep going.
A strong breeze whiffs around the Pongo, keeping him in place. I close my eyes and picture him floating closer.
You got this.
I open my eyes. The rock with the Pongo floats closer and closer. A huge grin blooms across my face. It's working! The Pongo jumps from the rock onto my head. As soon as the Pongo touches me, I lose my concentration and drop the rock. Leannah giggles.
Great job.
The Pongo wiggles on top of my head. Thanks for being a good sport. Leannah giggles as I pat the Pongo.
I think that's enough training for today. You've made great progress.
Thanks. I can feel the fatigue start to set in, and I'm grateful to Leannah for ending the session.
Let's go rejoin the group.
Yeah, they should all be awake by now, I think. Leannah nods, and the three of us return to camp. As I predicted, everyone else is awake, and even have breakfast prepared. After we eat and clean up camp, We resume our journey. After a couple of days' travel, we continue to journey along the path when I notice thick clouds darken the sky. Kara and Leannah cast worried glances over us above as a loud crack of thunder rails above.
This does not look promising.
We should find shelter. We don't want to be caught in this storm.
Amelia cross-references where we are with the Elder Ism's notes.
We are still quite a ways from Ellendale.
Then we'd better stop at the next city we see.
I think I have an idea of where we are. If I recall correctly, Wolfston should only be a few hours' travel. We can stop there.
Once agreed, we pick up the pace to combat the strengthening wind whipping at us and make our course for Wolfston. Eventually we see tall towers of Wolfston. We shuffle through the city gates, casting worried glances at the ominous sky. The turbulent clouds don't look any less threatening. People keep their heads down as they push past each other on the streets. They must be looking for shelter from the storm. I look at the surrounding buildings. Most are storefronts, which blend into each other as if trying to stay as inconspicuous as possible. As we travel deeper into town, a few opulent buildings loom in the sky. I guess that's where the better half lives. Leannah shifts uncomfortably.
Is it just me, or are people staring at us?
Looking around, I noticed the furtive glances towards Leannah as people give us a wide berth in passing.
No, they're staring at you.
Zach's comment seems to make her even more anxious. And who can blame them? I too cast her an appreciative once over. Leannah frowns and crosses her arms. That didn't seem to help her ease her nerves. I might have made her even more uncomfortable.
When you remember what kind of town Wolfston is, it's no surprise everyone is staring at her.
I give Kara a questioning look. And what sort of town is it?
Let's just say that what happens in Wolfston stays in Wolfston.
Leannah covers her sigil on her manipulator with one hand.
Maybe this isn't the best place for me to be advertising that I'm a part of the Mage Guild.
Zach nods.
Agreed. You're making them nervous.
The stare reminds me of when I first arrived in Meadowhill. Should we find you a change of clothes to blend in more?
That is a satisfactory suggestion, but perhaps it should be executed without the presence of Leannah. The longer she is in the streets, the more attention she draws.
Good point. Let's hurry up and find the inn. Leannah can stay there, and I'll help her find a more suitable outfit.
As the wind picks up, more people creep out of shadowed alleyways as they seek shelter. I instinctively check my pockets. Something about this place has me on edge. Leannah is equally anxious. While Amy's expression doesn't change, she does seem more alert than usual. Only Zach and Kara seem unaffected. Before long, we reach the inn. Although the lobby is full of people, it's more quiet than the other inns we frequented. Most patrons drink alone, and those in groups murmur softly, trying not to draw attention to themselves. We aroused a few curious glances when we walked in, but once we shuffled out of sight, people relaxed and forgot about us. The silence grows stifling as both Leannah and Amelia wait for the rest of the group to come back. As I'm wondering if I should say something, Leannah addresses Amy.
There's something that I've been wondering since Hearthpoint, but I haven't had a chance to ask.
Amy shifts her attention to Leannah.
Your mother mentioned that it's taken you a while to get a field study approved.
Yes, that is correct. I understand that such things take time as professors want to ensure the study is a proper fit for the student, but I will admit that I am beginning to become impatient.
She sighs.
Was the process for your field study equally taxing?
Leannah shakes her head.
No, I actually got the first one I applied for.
Amy blinks. Then her eyes grow wide.
You were accepted upon your first application?
Yeah,
She stares at Leannah.
maybe the process is different for mage knights and mage casters.
Amy continues to stare. Leannah looks at me and I shrug.
Amy?
I do not understand. I have completed all the prerequisites necessary to apply for a field study. I have even attended supplementary training to increase my potential for the selection. For all intents and purposes, I should be the most ideal candidate for the mandatory field study.
Is it just your professor's recommendation that you need?
Correct, but I have been repeatedly told that the field study is not a good fit for me.
Leannah rests her head on her hands as she thinks.
Do you think it has something to do with your age?
Amy frowns.
My age should not be an eligibility factor. I have proven myself to be capable enough to study as a mage caster.
This is pretty strange. And they haven't given you a specific reason why you keep getting declined?
Amelia shakes her head.
I am quite perplexed by the situation, especially now that I understand my difficulties are not standard.
I can feel the frustration behind her words. It sounds like Amy has it out for her. The Academy has it out for her. And I think she's only just started to realize that she's been treated differently. I don't really know what to say in these kinds of situations. I don't know how their academy works, so I don't have any input to add. Usually when people vent, they just want someone to be sympathetic, right? Well, that sucks. Hopefully you'll get one soon. Leannah smiles encouragingly.
I'm sure you will.
Amy looks pensive as the conversation dies down. Kara and Zach soon return with bowls of food, which we quickly eat. As we push our empty bowls away, Kara drops the key into Leannah's hand.
Okay, so here's a key to our room. You can go upstairs and lay low for the rest of the night. I'll go check the shops and grab an outfit for you.
She winks at Leannah.
Don't worry, it'll still be cute.
Zach silently hands me a key to our room. What about the storm?
Oh, I'll be okay. Zach will come with me.
Zach crosses his
I
arms.
didn't agree to this.
Kara feigns hurt.
You mean to say that you would let a young woman venture outside into the storm, in the middle of the night, in a dangerous city all on her own?
Zach's eyebrow twitches, but he tries to remain steadfast.
Guilt tripping me won't work.
Who knows what sort of ruffians are walking the streets this late? If they were to get the jump on me, then...
Okay, fine. I'll go with you. Jeez.
He pushes himself to his feet. Then Kara grins widely.
I knew you'd come around.
I'm only doing this so you can't blame anything on me later.
Kara smiles and drags Zach with her as they head towards the doors.
We'll be back soon.
We watch them exit in silence.
Well, I'm gonna call it a night.
As will I.
It is getting pretty late, and the thought of a real bed is very tempting after having to camp out for so many nights. I think I'll turn into... Together we head upstairs, and then split into our separate rooms. I relax on my bed for a while, enjoying the peacefulness of the night as I wait to fall asleep. The Pongo mysteriously emerges from somewhere and hops onto my bed. He bounces over and leans against me before finding a comfortable spot on my bed to sleep. I'm not sure how much time passes, but I eventually hear Zach return to the room and go to bed. I fall asleep not too long after. Muffled steps in the hallway pull me awake. Blinking my eyes, I look around. The sun struggles to shine through the overcast sky, making it hard to determine just what time it is. Judging by the noise from outside, I'm guessing it's well into the late morning or early afternoon. Zack's bed is empty, while the pongo snores softly by my feet. He wakes up as I carefully crawl out of bed, and after blinking bleary eyes, grins widely at me.
Hi.
Good morning. Or, I guess good afternoon. Yawning widely, I push myself completely out of bed and get ready for the day. For once, we don't have an agenda we need to follow while in this town. I wonder what the others are up to, and what the city has to offer. Ready to go downstairs? The pongo shies away and buries himself in my blankets. Huh. That's a weird reaction. You don't want to go exploring today?
Boy.
The pongo shakes his head. I peel back the blankets until he pokes his head free. You okay?
Boy.
He grins at me and looks a little more like his cheerful self. Okay. Good. Well, I'm going to go downstairs. You sure you don't want to come? He looks uneasy again and submerges back into the blankets.
Boy.
I guess he just doesn't like it here. Leaving the pongo alone, I exit the room and head for the stairs. Before I reach them, I hear a strange noise coming from above. Is there an attic in this place? I tiptoe towards where I heard the noise and find a pull-down staircase already lowered. I slowly begin to climb up. As I get closer, I recognize the noise as a series of hushed boys. The boys cease as I poke my head up into the attic. Sitting in front of a card table is a large pongo, the pudgiest pongo I have encountered yet, wearing a three-piece suit and sporting a pencil mustache. A cigar hangs from his mouth. Two pongo thugs sit on either side of the table. They all freeze and stare at me. Too shocked to react, I stare back at them. After what feels like an eternity, the pudgy pongo lowers his cigar. I better get out of here before he makes me a wafer I can't refuse. Silently, I lower myself out of the room and quickly head down the stairs. I think I know why my pongo didn't want to leave the room today. I think it's best to pretend that never happened. Shaking my head, I go downstairs to the lobby. The lobby is as busy as it was the night before, with some number of people filling the tables. I spot Zack exactly where I expected him to be, right in front of the bounty boards. Kara nurses a drink alone at one of the tables, but I don't see Leannah or Amy anywhere. I plop down at the table across from Kara. She raises an eyebrow as I sit. Hey, Kara!
Hey.
She looks amused as she takes a sip of her drink. Got any exciting plans today? She shrugs. Yeah, same here. There's got to be something more exciting to do. What do you think? A sly smile spreads across her face. She throws back her drink and slams the empty mug on the
I
table.
think I know exactly what we should do.
I'm not sure I trust that look. What does she have planned? What do you have in mind?
We're going to go gambling.
I've been lucky so far. And I don't think that luck's gonna run out anytime soon. I'm in. Kara nods approvingly.
I had a feeling you'd like my suggestion. Let's go then.
I follow Kara out of the inn. The streets are deserted as the clouds roil overhead. I glance cautiously at the sky, but Kara remains unconcerned as she surveys the shops along the streets. Finally, she stops in front of a gaudy building. Bright crystals illuminate the sign as they flash distractingly on and off. This place sticks out like a sore thumb. Kara grins as she pushes open the doors. I follow her in and blink as my eyes adjust to the dim room. Even if I hadn't known where we were going, I would have instantly recognized this place as a casino. Half of the room is lined with flashy slot machines powered by mini crystals, while the other half is filled with tables. Both players and onlookers crowd around the tables. In fact, the casino is packed with people. Clearly the storm is not enough to keep these people from their games.
So, see anything you like?
She gestures at the tables. You pick. She weaves among the tables, taking cursory glances at each game before
Have
deciding.
you played Shadow Knaves?
How do you play?
The goal is to reach a numerical value of 21 with the cards you're dealt. You'll start with 2 cards, and you could choose to add cards or stand depending on what you have.
Oh, I know this game. We have a version of it back home.
Perfect! Then you'll be a pro. Ready to play?
In response, I sit down at the table and place my bet. Kara grins and does the same. After the remaining seats at the table are filled, the dealer begins the first round. He slides 2 cards face up. Although the numbers look the same, the suits of the cards are unfamiliar. I have what looks like a 7 of crystals and a 9 of swirly dots? Looking around the table, my competitors have a total of 18, 13, 7, and 20. My cards only add up to 16. No way will I win with that hand. Hit me. The dealer flips over another card to reveal a 5. Nice! Dealer busts, and I win this round. Kara somehow is a blackjack master and pretty much kills it every round. Some of the scowls on the other patrons deepen, and I'm glad I'm not a part of the game. They do not look happy at losing all that money. I browse a few of the other tables and recognize the terror versions of craps and roulette. It's funny how we have fairly similar games, although I suppose that's not too unexpected, considering we're fairly similar worlds. Gambling is gambling. I return to the blackjack table just in time to see Kara abruptly stand.
Time to go!
But what about trying? Kara has a grin plastered on her face as she shakes her head.
Maybe next time, but I think we've had enough gambling for one day. It's time to cash out.
Not even one more game?
Really, it's about time we get going. Trust me.
She doesn't seem like she'll let up. I shrug and follow her. After cashing out, Kara hastens out of the casino. I jog up to catch her. Something weird is going on. So, what was that all about? Why were you in such a hurry to leave? She smiles innocently.
It was just time for us to go.
Aha! You were totally up to something shady, weren't you?
I don't know what you mean.
Sure. I bet you were counting cards. Kara blinks.
Oh, you noticed?
Wait, what?
What?
That's really impressive. You're using your skill set to help the odds in your favor. Kara seems pleased.
Thank you. I'm happy you understand.
Hey, I give credit where credit's due. Besides, it's not like that giant business will miss some money anyway.
It's true. There are a few people I could think of who could put that money to better use.
You mean like orphans? Kara whips her head around and stares at me with wide eyes. More specifically, those orphans back at the Stonecrest.
How'd you know about that?
I saw you there. I wanted to share my money with them too. Her expression softened.
You gave them money too.
I nod. I felt bad for them.
Yeah. They were just trying to survive in the only way they knew how. I thought if I shared my reward with them, maybe they'll find a way where they won't need to steal again.
Well, now I feel guilty only giving them a portion of my reward. She laughs.
Your heart was in the right place.
So, what should we do now? A mischievous grin spreads across her face.
Let's go to another casino.
I laugh. This can only be trouble. I follow her to another casino where we go through the same routine. After winning big again, we part ways and I head back to the inn. I decide to spend the rest of my time alone. I relax at one of the tables by myself, observing the people and enjoying my free time. It's not too often that I can have some alone time, and with the storm outside, I'm entitled to feel a little lazy. The rest of the afternoon passes by uneventfully. With the dark clouds outside, it's hard to judge the time of day, but the skies seem to be darkening. I haven't seen Leannah at all today. Is she still in her room? I decide to see if she's free. As I approach her room, I knock on the door. Leannah? There's a pause, then a scuffling sound.
Yes?
You okay in there?
Yep. Fine.
Have you had a chance to look around yet? Maybe we could go check out the shops.
Well, it's getting kind of late, isn't it? Might be better to stay inside.
Sure you don't want to come downstairs? We can get something to eat? There's a pause again.
You know, I'm not very hungry. I think I'll stay here for now. Thanks.
I narrow my eyes. Is it just me, or is Leannah acting a little weird? Are you sure everything's okay in there? Leannah opens the door a crack and pokes her head out. Her smile is a little too bright.
Yep, just peachy. Sorry. I'm just feeling a little tired. Nothing to worry about.
She's about to close the door, but I push to keep it open as my scarf is caught in the doorway. Wait! I push on the door to yank my scarf out. The door swings wide open, revealing Leanna's new outfit. She throws her arms around herself to cover up.
Don't look!
My jaw drops as I take in all of her outfit, what little there is of it. That's not really a style I'd have you picked for, but it's not bad. Leannah tries to cover as much as possible.
I didn't choose this. Kara brought this back for me.
Is this why you've been hiding in your room?
I can't go anywhere dressed like this. It's best if I just stay here until the storm has passed.
It's really not that bad. Leannah just gives me a look. If you don't like it, we can go to the shops and get you something else.
Okay, let me change and then we can go.
I thought you couldn't wear your regular armor. Leannah
I
brings.
can't go out dressed like this though.
Your armor will draw more attention. At least this outfit helps you blend in. She looks uncomfortable. Honestly, it isn't that bad. Besides, we don't know how long the storm is going to last. What if you have to spend days cooped up in that room? Leannah frowns as she thinks about it, then sighs.
I suppose you're right. Alright, we can go, but let's make it quick.
Gathering her courage, Leannah leaves the room and the two of us head downstairs. Nobody pays us any extra attention as we exit the inn. I squint up at the thick clouds. There is a light rain. We better hurry if we don't want to get caught in a downpour. We make our way down the alleyway. Leannah still gets attention, although not the same as before. She seems annoyed by the sharp whistling from leering men. I wonder if I should step in.
Hey there, baby.
What did you call me?
Leannah grabs the man by the collar and slams him against the wall.
What the hell?
Go on. Call me baby again. I dare you.
Leanna's grip on the man's collar tightens as he's pinned securely against the wall. She must be using her wind magic to be able to keep a man twice her size immobilized with barely a struggle. Leannah continues to watch him with challenging eyes, daring him to call her again. The man stays silent as he tries to break free. Leannah finally lets go and tosses him to the side. He falls to the ground with a loud thud.
That's what I thought.
The man picks himself up and scrambles away.
You crazy bitch!
Yeah, and don't you forget it.
A crowd of shocked onlookers stare at
What are
Leannah.
you looking at?
They quickly look away and resume walking. Satisfied, Leannah looks at me with a smile.
Shall we continue?
I nod. Crystalline has encountered an error and must close. We continue down the streets and reach the shops. Even though it's well into the evening, all the storefronts are still open. I guess this is one of those cities that never sleeps. Leannah and I enter the first clothing shop we find. She browses the racks, but her face becomes more aghast with every outfit she picks up. She holds up a piece of fabric so short, I can't figure out if it's supposed to be a top or a skirt.
I don't think we'll find anything here. Let's go somewhere else.
I follow Leannah out of the store and into the next one. As she browses the selection, she seems even more disappointed as each outfit is skimpier than the next. After checking out a couple more shops with no luck, we enter the last shop on the street. Leannah checks out the racks again, then tracks down the shopkeeper.
Excuse me. Do you have any armor?
Absolutely.
He rummages through the clothing before pulling out what is essentially just a metal bra and thong. Leannah can't hide her horror as the shopkeeper smiles triumphantly.
There you go.
How is that armor?
What do you mean? It's metal. That means it can protect you.
But what about the rest of me?
He's about to retort, but is left speechless as her words sink in.
You know, I'd never even thought about that before.
Do you have anything with a little more coverage?
The shopkeeper returns to the racks and picks out another metal bra and underwear.
How about this?
How is that better?
Whoa!
Ugh, I'm so done with this place!
Realizing that this is a fruitless search, Leannah fumes out of the shop, and I follow close behind. She looks down at her outfit and sighs.
It's hard to believe, but I think Kara picked out the most modest outfit available in this place.
Looks like it.
I guess she knows me a little better than I thought.
As we pass a darkened storefront on our way back to the inn, two men melt from the shadows and approach us.
Excuse me, are those manipulators on your wrist?
Leannah and I glance at each other, and then back at the men.
Why do you ask?
The second man speaks.
We have an offer which may be interesting to you.
Exactly. As magic users, power in your craft is essential. Luckily for you, we happen to know a secret technique to amplify your casting usage to your fullest potential, no matter the skill level.
What's the technique? The first man hands me a card. The den at Wolf's Den is written in curly letters.
Meet us at that location tomorrow morning, and all will be revealed.
Leannah narrows her eyes.
How do we know this is legitimate?
The second man smiles.
Your skepticism is understandable, but we've gone through this exact training and can personally guarantee results.
You're mages? Where are your manipulators?
I glance at their empty wrists. Leannah brings up a good point.
Right here.
He lifts his hand and points to the crystal inlaid ring on his finger. Leannah's mouth drops open in surprise, but she quickly composes herself.
Your manipulator is a ring?
The man flashes the same mysterious grin.
Be there tomorrow morning and all will be revealed.
They hand Leannah a card too, then disappear back into the alley. Leannah watches them retreat, a stern look on her face. You've got solicitors in this world too? Really is as impossible to escape them. She barely seems to register what I'm saying. Leannah? She blinks.
Huh?
That was pretty weird, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
I begin to throw the card away when Leannah stops me.
Wait! We need that!
We do?
How else will we find them tomorrow morning?
Wait. We're going to meet those guys? She nods. Don't tell me you believe that nonsense.
Of course not, but I'm sure other people have believed it. We should check out what it is they're offering, and if it even works.
I shake my head. There's no way it could work.
I know, but we should go just in case. Besides, there's no way those rings are actual manipulators. It's impossible to condense the amount of energy needed for casting into such a tiny crystal. Something doesn't add up.
It does seem a little too good to be true. She nods and pockets the card. A crack of thunder interrupts us. We should go back.
Yeah.
We hurry back to the inn. I spot Kara and Zach at a table, and we join them. Zach smirks when he sees Leannah.
Nice outfit.
Leanna's cheeks flush.
I don't want to talk about it.
Kara grins widely.
Oh, don't be shy. You've got to own it.
Leanna's blush deepens as she quickly changes the subject.
We were just out and ran into some strange men promising us unimaginable power.
She pulls out their card and places it on the
They
table.
said to meet them there tomorrow.
Zach and Kara study it.
I've never seen this before.
I have. They recruited me too.
Leannah blinks.
But you aren't a mage. They were looking for magic casters. Why did they recruit you?
Zach shrugs.
Something about being a valuable asset? I wasn't really listening.
We're going to meet them tomorrow morning. Leannah nods.
Same here.
What? Really? Leannah looks equally surprised.
Sure.
Why? I thought you weren't
I
listening.
wasn't. But from what I did hear, it sounds like a scam for money. Money which should be liberated from them for the greater good.
Why am I not surprised?
All right, let's meet up there tomorrow morning and go together.
Zack nods. As if on cue, Amy joins the group.
Greetings. Have we all gathered here to partake in supper?
That's a pretty good idea. I could go for some food.
I nod. Same here. We order some food and sit together to eat. As we eat, Amelia looks intently from Kara to Leannah. Leannah shifts uncomfortably.
Is there something wrong, Amy?
There seems to be an undeniable trend in the clothing both you and Kara are wearing. Perhaps I should be wearing something similar.
Kara becomes stern.
We need to have a talk about what is and isn't appropriate for you to wear, young lady.
The irony of that statement is not lost on me.
I shrug while the rest of the team fusses over Amelia. There's no way I'm going to get caught in the middle of that. Once the team has calmed down and talked Amy out of purchasing an outfit, we finish the rest of our meals. Leannah reminds Zack and me to meet downstairs in the morning, then we all retire to bed. After getting changed, I fall into my bed and drift to sleep. In the afternoon, I wake up to an unaccustomed brightness. Blinking my eyes open, I glance outside and notice the absence of clouds. Looks like the storm has finally passed. Zack's bed is empty and even the pongo is missing. I guess I'm the last one up considering it's almost midday. I hurry out of my bed and rush to get ready, then head downstairs. The team is already there, gathered around a table. They greet me as I arrive. Looks like the storm has passed.
Correct. Which means we are able to resume our journey to Ellendale.
Not exactly. We've still got some unfinished business. We have to meet up with those men to learn the secret to unimaginable power.
Alright, those two men from yesterday. Zack gets to his feet.
Ready to go?
I suppose so. Leannah stands as well, but Kara and Amy stay put. Are you two coming?
The invitations were not extended to us.
Yeah, plus I think it's a mage or crystal specific thing, so that leaves me out. We'll stick around here and see what else we can dig up and meet you guys when you're done.
Amy nods. That's probably for the best. Leannah, Zack, and I exit the inn. Studying the address on the cards given to us, we eventually come across a nondescript mansion. Cautiously, we knock on the front door. There's no response. Since they were looking for mages only, Leannah does a radio scan. From the blank door, a hidden message appears. It indicates to go around the back entrance, but only when the sun is fully set. We decide to spend our time scouting out the location for all the different exits and get as much information as we can. By the time we are done our extensive mapping, it is evening. We circle around the house to the plain wooden door. We knock twice and the door swings open. Grinning widely is one of the men who recruited us yesterday. He ushers us in through the door and into a foyer where a handful of people mill about. I take in the marble staircase and pristine tiles. Some people sit on the leather couches as we wait for whatever is supposed to happen to begin. Bright light spills into the room and reflects off the crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling. This room looks more expensive than my entire house back home. I'd never have guessed it from the plain exterior of the house. After a few more minutes, A man with slick black hair approaches with open arms and a shining grin.
Welcome!
The room quiets down into silence as he greets
I'm
us.
sure you're all wondering why you've been invited here today. It's because our expert talent scouts spotted a commonality within all of you, an unmistakable ability, a mastery of the elements.
A few people sneak glances around the room. I look at Leannah, who is watching the speaker intently. Zack crosses his arms, his expression unreadable.
We too share this gift, and we too hungered for power. We spent hours upon hours honing our craft, showing painstakingly slow progress before we were introduced to the secret techniques we hope to share with you today. My friends, if you wish to become the most powerful casters in this area, then you have come to the right place. But as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. These techniques are dangerous and are not for the faint of heart. Failure can lead to dire consequences, and in order for us to continue, I need absolute assurance that you are all ready to face those consequences. If anyone is having second thoughts, now is the moment when you can walk out of here with no hard feelings.
A couple of people turn around and head back towards the door, but the majority of the group, which is still a number around 10 people, decide to stay.
I admire all of your courage, but I'm not surprised by your decision.
A doorway to the left of the room creaks open, and a man points in that direction.
The beginning of your training is in the next room. Please proceed through the doors, and our training leader will meet you there.
Low murmurings fill the silence as people begin to exit the room. As Leannah begins to pass, the strange man from before us sidles up to her and lowers his voice.
So, the guild finally caught wind of this, eh?
Leannah masks her surprise and keeps her voice even.
I'm not sure what you mean.
He chuckles and nudges her.
It's alright. You can trust me. I'm actually Broodman.
He pauses, as if waiting for our recognition, but we merely stare blankly at him.
Broodman? The Silent Protector? Tamer of the Wolves at Wolf's Den?
Again, we make no notion of recognition.
Well, either way, we're on the same side. I know that these guys are dangerous, and I've got a plan in place to stop them.
How do you know they're dangerous? Do you know what their secret technique is?
Broodman waggles his eyebrows knowingly.
Right. Playing innocent to keep up your facade. I understand.
He winks.
Look, I was planning on taking these guys down alone, but having a member of the Mage Guild as backup would ensure the downfall of these guys. What do you say? Are you in?
Leannah
I
frowns.
don't know what you're talking about.
He winks.
Alright. You won't budge.
He taps his nose, then fixes his attention on
I'll
Zack.
just pretend I didn't see the mage emblem when you first entered Wolf's Den. What about you?
His voice trails off as Zack stares him down with his unblinking gaze. Broodman seems unfazed. Broodman's gaze lands on me, and he quickly shifts focus.
How about you?
I don't know what you're talking about. He taps his nose again longingly. We hear shuffling, and I notice most of the people have filed out of the room by
We
now.
should get going before they get suspicious.
Broodman nods, and we follow the others out of the room and into an evening courtyard. The courtyard is surrounded on all sides by walls, which upon further inspection are hallways connected to different wings of the mansion. Because we're enclosed within the mansion, we're guaranteed privacy.
Listen up! I know what they promised you back there, and I know they made it sound like all of you, as long as you try, will be able to learn the technique for power. But they're wrong! Only those of you strong enough to handle that amount of magic will be successful, and that's where I come in. I'm here to test your proficiency with magic, and if this technique is something you can even handle.
A few staff members who are standing on the sidelines come over and begin passing out manipulators. When they reach Zack, the staff member notices his lack of a manipulator and looks at him in confusion. Zack doesn't react, or bother to take the manipulator from his hands either.
He passes.
The training leader walks by, and as his gaze falls on Zack's charges, his expression changes. He turns to the staff with the manipulator and urges him to move on. The staff member begins to protest, but the training leader stops him.
He passes. I know you all have your own manipulators, but I don't care. Use ours anyway. The goal of this isn't to show off who has the fanciest gadgets. It's to eliminate any variables so we can get a more accurate read on your abilities. Now, who wants to go first?
One person steps up and attempts to cast a gale, but his nerve makes his arm unsteady, and he keeps losing focus.
Enough!
The training leader shakes his head, and the man hangs his head. The staff member leads the man out of the courtyard as the next person steps up. One by one they go, until it's my turn. My blood runs cold as clammy sweat covers my body.
Let's go! We haven't got all day.
I close my eyes and breathe deeply. I can do this. Just remember my training. Once my hand's steady, I raise my arm and channel a gust of wind as I've done so many times before. I picture Leannah watching and encouraging me, and sure enough, a gust of wind flows through my fingers. The training leader frowns, unimpressed, but the staff member who took my energy reading races over to his side. I'm pretty sure I can guess what's going on. They took a scan that said my energy levels are off the charts, and yet somehow my casting skill does not equal the energy I possess.
Pass. For now.
I nod. The trainer leader calls Leannah forward, and I take this time to switch out my manipulator back to my own. She takes a deep breath, gathers her energy, and raises her arm. Her blue eyes almost turn steel gray as a gale storm whips the trees in the courtyard. Leannah's hair flies around her, but she stands steady in the tempest, her gaze challenging the training leader. He raises his hand, and as instantly as she summoned it, Leannah ceases the storm.
Pass.
As a few people pick themselves off the ground or dust themselves off, Leannah returns to the group. Nice job!
Thanks. You too.
I nod. They continue to move through the tests. Zack silently slinks over and joins us as Leannah surreptitiously switches back to her manipulator and does a scan of her own. She frowns at the results of the lowers and lowers her voice so I can barely hear her.
I'm getting the same strange absence of energy reading that we got back at Stonecrest.
Do you think it has something to do with Void? She nods, her expression grave. A guard approaches Leannah, and she quickly puts on a smile.
I have a message from the site commander. He wishes to meet you.
Oh?
In his private quarters.
Oh.
For once, she can't hide her surprise. The guard leaves momentarily as he goes to speak with the training leader. Leannah turns to
We
us.
need to figure a way out of this. There's no way I'm going into the commander's private quarters.
You have to.
What?
Quiet!
Leannah lowers her voice, but her tone is just as stern.
Do you have any idea what an invitation to his private quarters means?
Of course I do. And that's why you need to go. This is your chance to get inside and find out if this is a part of Void's operation like you suspect.
She frowns.
There must be another way.
Probably. But not on such short notice without an all-access pass to the most secure place in the entire mansion.
Leannah remains quiet as Zack's words sink in. Then she groans.
You're right. This is the perfect opportunity.
What about us?
We'll find a way inside and catch up with Leannah. When you get to his quarters, make sure you leave the door unlocked so we can get in.
I will. But you two better hurry up. I do not want to be alone with him longer than I need to.
The training leader looks annoyed and waves the guard away. We fall silent as he returns to collect Leannah. She throws us one last warning look before leaving. So how are we gonna sneak in?
We need a distraction.
As Zach and I scan our surroundings, a hand falls on my
Don't
shoulder.
worry, I've got this.
Got what?
He just winks at us as he enters the center of the courtyard. The training leader looks amused as Broodman enters the testing space unprompted but doesn't stop him. Broodman stands perfectly still and takes an exaggerated breath, then slowly breathes it out. He readies his arm in front of him and summons a glowing fireball in his hand. As he aims it straight in front of him, it was only then that I had noticed he strategically placed himself so he's facing a large tree. That's smart. He'll ignite the tree accidentally as a part of his proficiency testing. Broodman takes another deep breath, and just as he's about to let the fireball fly, he sneezes. Hard. The fireball misdirects and catches on his clothes. He yelps as the flames lap at his clothes and drops to the ground and rolls, but instead of extinguishing the flames, the grass ignites where he rolls. Soon the courtyard is amuck with shrieking voices and running bodies. What am I even witnessing? Zach pulls me aside.
Now's our chance.
I nod, and the two of us slip through the same door we saw Leannah go through. We enter a brightly lit corridor and try our best to blend in and stick to a few shadows in the room. We manage to escape the corridor without incident and reach another open hallway. A guard stands in the center of the room making his rounds. Zach signals for me to stay back as he sneaks up on the guard. I stay back and give Zach space. He has far more experience in this sort of thing than I do, and I'm happy to follow his lead. As he gets close, he jumps the guard and covers his mouth as he disarms him. I rush over and help him secure the guard into a more hidden alcove. He struggles as we place him in a chair. I hold him down as Zach approaches him.
Where are the commander's quarters?
I'll never tell.
Zach grins as he cracks his knuckles.
Good.
Good?
I was hoping you'd resist. It makes interrogation so much more fun.
The guard resumes his struggles, but I continue to hold him down. Zach slowly approaches, and I see the fear creep into the guard's eyes.
Hold on a second.
Zach doesn't stop. He balls his hand into a fist. The guard looks at me with panic in his eyes.
I'll talk. Just get that crazy guy away from me.
Zach frowns, but stops walking towards him.
The commander's quarters are right down this hall, and then a left at the next fork. His is the last room down that corridor.
That's all we needed. Thanks.
With one knockout punch, the guard falls unconscious, and the two of us hurry up. As we turn down the hall, I face Zach. I'm surprised that was so easy. Zach sighs.
I know. How disappointing.
I look blankly at Zach. Okay then. We sneak through the corridors and remain unspotted as we follow the guard's instructions. We recognize the commander's quarters immediately and see the two heavy mahogany doors at the end of the hall are slightly ajar. Why are there no guards in front of the quarters? Isn't that suspicious?
Not if the commander's got a woman in his room.
Fair point. We slip into the room and are immediately greeted by a frenzy of whispers from Leannah.
Oh, finally! You guys sure took your sweet time.
Calm down. We got here as quickly as we could.
Where's the commander? Leannah points to a locked door. That must be the bathroom.
He went to freshen up.
She shudders. Zach crosses his arms.
Okay, then what are you doing just standing around here for? Get in a position.
What position?
Zach points to the bed and Leannah pales.
You can't be serious!
Do you want to jeopardize this operation or what?
How would posing on the bed help with this operation?
Because while he's very distractedly approaching the bed, we'll be able to knock him out from behind. Quick and quiet. and not alerting any guards.
Leannah sighs, then lacklusterly climbs onto the bed. She lays down on her side and props her head up with her arm.
Like this?
Does it even matter how she poses? The commander's already made up his mind and will be doing what he set out to do anyway.
Please don't phrase it like that.
She shudders again and scrambles off the bed. Zack frowns.
No, that's not right at all. You have to be more inviting.
Zack lounges on his stomach and bends his legs up at the knee as he rests his head on one of his hands.
This is the most effective pose.
Are you kidding me? You look like you're sunbathing at the beach. That's not alluring at all.
You don't know what you're talking about, woman.
I think I'd know a thing or two more about flirting than you would.
Oh, please enlighten me, sailor.
Leanna's face flushes at the memory. She's about to argue when the door to the bathroom flings open. A looming man stands in front of the door in nothing more than a too-revealing Speedo.
Apologies for the delay, my sweet. I wanted to make sure that I was in.
He freezes when he sees Zack on the bed, and for a moment, nobody moves.
All right, before we begin fighting, I have a really important question.
Zack mimics Leanna's original pose.
Is this attractive?
The commander's face turns red with rage.
No!
Thank you, that's exactly what I said.
Well, it would have been attractive if I were doing it.
I'd agree to that if anyone cares about my opinion. The commander roars out in anger. Zack rolls off the bed and withdraws his chargers in one smooth motion as Leanna's manipulator glows. I pull out my sword and ready a fighting stance. The commander glares at us.
Do you really think that a bunch of amateurs can take out someone as powerful as I? You fools will regret ever crossing paths with a Shadow General.
He raises his arms and readies a stance, then his face falls as he realizes he's naked.
Oh, shit.
Zack shoots a blast, which knocks the commander down. He smashes his head against the dresser and falls to the ground with a heavy thud. Leannah rushes to check him, her sword at the ready, but he's knocked out cold. I sheath my blade. That was easy.
They aren't so tough without their magic.
Leannah has her manipulator out and performs a scan.
He said he was a Shadow General. That just confirms that this has something to do with Void.
She suddenly focuses on an area in the floor. Prying up the floorboard, we find a large bag filled with dark spheres.
Tainted spheres.
Definitely Void.
We can't leave the spheres here. We have to take them.
We'll be too conspicuous lugging this bag around.
But it would be even more dangerous to leave them here for them to use.
Also, what should we do with the Shadow General? Just leave him there? Zack shrugs. Suddenly the window crashes open. We ready ourselves for another battle, but we recognize the figure as Broodman. He dusts himself off and heads straight for the commander.
Finally, we meet again.
Broodman doesn't seem to notice we're there as he continues addressing the commander.
For all these years, I have slowly unraveled everything you've worked so hard to build. I have been that splinter that you just can't pull out. And now I am here to finish what I have started. For I am Broodman. You killed my brother. Prepare to die.
He frowns as the commander doesn't react.
And even now, you won't give me the decency of even acknowledging my presence.
He moves in to kick the commander when we stop him.
Hey, wait! He's unconscious!
Broodman pauses.
Ah, yes, of course. He was so intimidated by my speech that he passed out in fear.
That's not what... Broodman strides to the commander and seemingly without effort hauls him over his shoulder.
Don't worry, I'll take it from here.
He launches the commander out of the newly opened window. What the heck?
We're on the second floor!
Oh,
We rush to the window. A fall from the second level may not be fatal, but it could still break a few bones. Luckily, the commander landed on a bush and looks unscathed. Broodman crosses his arms
all
triumphantly.
according to plan, my friends.
He climbs back through the window and lands on his feet beside the commander, then takes him away into the night. We pause as we let all of that sink in.
We should get out of here before we attract too much attention.
Leannah nods. She carries the bag of tainted spears as naturally as she can and pushes open the doors. There are 2 guards now stationed in front of the commander's quarters, and they give us questioning looks as the 3 of us slip out, careful to close the door behind us.
Where is the commander?
Please don't disturb him. He's all tuckered out from our certain activities.
She winks. The guard clears his throat uncomfortably.
Right, I understand.
The second guard looks suspiciously at Zack and me.
Hold on. What about you two?
Oh, don't worry. We took part in those activities too. I wink and try to hold back my laughter at their horrified expressions.
Would you like us to elaborate?
Nope, not necessary. You may go.
Zack grins as the 3 of us waltz out of the corridor. Because the commander had made it clear what his intentions were with Leannah, we had no trouble with any of the guards milling about, and were able to exit the mansion unquestioned. Once we were safely outside, we raced back to the inn. Breaching through the doors, we very urgently scoop up Amy and Kara.
Greetings upon your safe return. I assume your endeavors were successful.
Yep, everything's great, but we should really be getting a move on now. We'll fill you in on the details later.
Amelia looks surprised, but Kara notices the bag Leannah carries and urges Amy.
Sounds good. We've been itching to get out of here anyway. Come on, Amy. Let's go grab our things and head out. The sooner we're out of here, the closer we'll be to Ellendale.
Amy shrugs and follows Kara upstairs to grab the things. Once they return downstairs, we depart. As we leave Wolf's-Den, I spot a familiar dark visage of Broodman. Beside him is a woman wearing a hooded green cloak. She carries a large bow on her back. I slip away from the group and step closer to Broodman, making sure to stay hidden from their view. The woman has braided long white hair, and fine lines trace her tan skin. Broodman nods.
The deed has been done. Void's operation here will crumble without their commander. Wolf's-Den need fear the shadows no longer.
The woman nods in satisfaction. Suddenly her gaze slides to me. I freeze, unable to move. What do I do? Broodman notices her gaze and looks at me. He flashes me a broad smile and gives me a thumbs up. The woman's face is partially hidden behind a scarf, but she nods slowly, approvingly. Then she abruptly turns and leaps up. She scales the wall and disappears onto the rooftop, silent and graceful like a cat. Broodman pulls himself up using his brute strength before following closely behind. At least I know he's doing okay. I catch up with my friends as we continue out the gates of Wolf's-Den. Once we're on the road, Leannah and I fill the rest of the team in on what happened. After traveling as swiftly as we can for the rest of the evening, we decide to make camp. We choose a secluded area off of the main road and set to work. Leannah and I split up to search for firewood while Zack and Kara prepare our rations. Amy unrolls her sleeping pack and lights the campfire. The Pongo cuddles beside her and watches the dancing flames. Once the food is ready, all of us gather around and begin to eat in silence. Kara playfully breaks the silence.
Foiling another Void operation. Seems like just another day in the life now.
Actually, now that he mentioned it, we have seen a lot of Void presence lately. Weren't they supposed to have been disbanded and outlawed? Why are they everywhere?
Unless every single person who believes in Void's ideals and goals are gone, it's impossible to fully get rid of Void. They've always been around, even after the Treaty of Assyria. They're just more secretive about it now. It's just, you won't find them unless you know where to look.
Amelia thinks.
If what you say about Void and its operations are true, then the most logical course of action would be to alert the Mage Guild or Academy of their whereabouts.
They're probably already aware of Void activities and have missions to monitor or take care of things.
It's true that the Mage Guild is involved with a lot of suspicious reports of magical activities. I'm sure many of them have some connection to Void, which the Guild would keep secret so as not to entice widespread panic.
That makes sense. A resourceful organization like that would have some serious flaws in its intelligence if they didn't do at least that much. Amy nods.
What has been said seems sensible.
Zack points to a bag of spears.
What are we gonna do with those? Someone will probably come looking for them.
Leannah moves towards the
We'll
bag.
turn them into the Mage Guild of the next city, and let them know what happened.
She tries to secure the bag when a blue little head pops up. The Pongo dives into the sea of spheres, and we hear contented sighs of boy.
Pongo, what are you doing in there?
She reaches straight into the bag and pulls him out, much to the Pongo's dismay. He struggles against her grip, but she grabs him firmly. If a Pongo absorbs a tainted spear, will the Pongo become tainted too? Amy shakes her head.
No, the way a sphere becomes tainted is by becoming supersaturated with energy, thus becoming unstable. A Pongo's absorption of energy is to turn sad energy into fuel. He is unaffected by the type of energy absorbed.
Kara looks intrigued. She scoots closer to the Pongo and tickles him. He giggles.
I never knew that.
If that's the case, why aren't Pongos used against Void? Send them into Void establishments to absorb the tainted spheres.
Absorbing spheres doesn't happen overnight. And when a Pongo is full, he'll stop absorbing energy. Just like how we can't eat anymore after we finished a meal.
Perhaps in a span of a couple months, a Pongo could remove all energy within a tainted sphere.
Exactly. The process is just too slow to be effective during a battle.
The Pongo manages to wiggle out of Leannah's grasp and plumps down beside me. He stares longingly at the bag, but makes no move to return. We finish up eating and begin to clean up. Afterwards, I stifle a yawn. The stars shine pinpoints of light amidst the black sky, and their comforting glow makes me even sleepier. We've had a long day. As the rest of the group gets ready for bed, I crawl into my bedroll and close my eyes. The night is still, and gradually I can hear the soft breathing of my friends as they each drift off to sleep. A gentle shuffling noise has me blink open my eyes.